All right. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are all well and welcome to day 4 of your Calm After Cancer Challenge. Okay, let me just, there we go. Awesome. Tech is all set. We are ready to go. So, welcome to day 4 of your Calm After Cancer Challenge. Hopefully, you have been watching the videos in the group and or getting the replays sent to you and accessing them and watching them when you can. I hope you've been practicing your little activities and using your workbook. If you're watching and you're like, oh, what's going on? Good question. I'm Melissa Merchant. I'm an integrative cancer coach, ex-litigation lawyer. I'm the host of this group, and I am the host of this challenge. I do workshops, masterclasses, challenges, free coaching calls in this group every month, and I do them for you. And this is just another one of those. But it's on a really important topic, the fear that we all feel after cancer, how to calm down. And actually, these techniques are great for every aspect of your life, not just the cancer piece, although I understand that that may be the drive for you right now. I get it. I've been there. So if you've registered for this challenge, you will have been sent your workbook. So open it to day 4 because today we're going to make a routine. We're going to build a resilience routine that fits real life because I'm nothing if not practical. And so we're going to make your routine small enough to do on the good days and the days where your battery is flat. This isn't about heroics. It's just about dependable, practical, doable, repeatable steps. Okay. And why do I make a big deal about that? Because the heroic big measures may not be what you need. They may not be doable. Tiny, repeatable beats heroic, and I'm going to teach you how to build it. So why this tiny pieces? Because your nervous system loves patterns. Your body actually can settle faster when it can predict what's next. This is why I want you to practice these activities even when you're feeling fine. Rehearse them because as soon as you start them, when you actually need them, your body will be like, oh, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. Your body settles faster when it can predict what's next. So we're going to do a cue, a tiny behavior, and a gentle reward. So a cue is something that already happens, right? Like brushing your teeth, when the kettle boils, when you sit in the car. A tiny behavior is the minimum thing, just maybe 60 seconds of long exhale breathing. When your exhale is longer than your inhale. Remember, we talked about that, like in for 4, hold, and out for 5, that kind of thing. And just give yourself a little gentle reward, a little pat on the back, a simple done, or you did it, or even a sip of tea, or just sitting with the sunlight on your face. It's not laziness. This is actually habit formation. And if you've ever read, I did have it here somewhere. If you have ever read James Clear's book, The Atomic Habits, it's really powerful. And he talks about exactly this, right? It's how brains wire habits. Small, it's the same, and you see yourself do it, right? So give your nervous system that pattern. Secondly, the other reason why tiny things like breathing is really, really powerful is because a brief exhale weighted breathing, like in for 3, out for 5, or cycle sighing, it's called, you take 2 short inhales and 1 long exhale. It's biology. It's amazing. It can improve mood markers compared with mindfulness alone, right? And it's because you are literally taking your nervous system from fight or flight to rest and relax. And that improves your heart rate variability and all kinds of other things that I talk about all the time. So, in order to do the leveraging the breathing, we've talked about it many times every day of this challenge so far, but it's really important that you do it right. we don't breathe right. Breathe lightly. Don't gulp air. Keep your shoulders soft and down, your jaw relaxed, nose breathing if you can, pursed lips if you're congested. Of course, if you get dizzy, stop and take a minute and maybe start again. So you will notice even just a 1% drop in tension the first time you try it. Imagine what would happen if you get really good at this and you do this all the time to relax. Like I mentioned yesterday, I wear an Oura ring. It's like data metrics for my health, sleep, heart rate, body temperature, all the things. I literally in real time can have my app open and do a breathing exercise and watch my pulse lower. Right. It's amazing. It's amazing. So these routines done when you're feeling great, practice them. They will help you when you need them, like with scanxiety, as we call it. So let's just use it as an example. On scan weeks, your routine, your resilience routine is like, think of it like your scaffolding, right? You don't debate whether to do it or not. You just follow a rehearsal. You just do it. You just do it because you've trained your body to do it, and your body will and your brain will immediately recognize what you're doing. It's not about making a decision. Reduce decision fatigue. We have to make so many millions of decisions every day. Give your system a familiar thing. That is what you need when you're feeling panic, right? Place tiny anchors morning and evening. Have the morning and evening routines where you do it, like bookend your day. Don't change the plan on Scan Week. Don't change it, shrink it, but do it, right? I talked before about compartmentalization, right? And that backfires. Compartmentalization, as a reminder, is where you're like, oh, yeah, God, I don't want to think about that right now. I'm going to pop that in a little box and shut the door. If you are only coping on like results day, for example, and then you avoid the topic the rest of the time, you just refuse to think about it, your system can never practice settling under the small loads. That's why I'm making such a big deal about the rehearsal. Short daily reps is kind of like exposure therapy, right? And the more you expose your brain to it, the less power that fear has. You're teaching your body safety is possible. You are safe. Teach your brain that. So I thought, let's have like a good day routine where it's like you're just rehearsing, and then have the days where you just like, oh my God, I cannot, it's too much. Call that a good day and a low spoons day. And this is all in your workbook. So a good day is a slightly longer circuit, but it's still tiny. And a low spoons day is the absolute minimum that still counts, because we don't feel like it sometimes, but we still need to do it. You still need to rehearse and practice so that when an episode happens where you're panicking or you wake up at 2 a.m. or you're refreshing the portal or you're waiting for a phone call or just general anxiety, your body needs to recognize. So we're going to have a slightly longer circuit for the days where you have all the bandwidth and a low spoons when you don't. So we want it to be frictionless, like no equipment, no apps, no mat. We want it to be stackable, as James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits, because we want to pair it with something that you already do so that this becomes a habit. Brushing your teeth, while you're doing that, you're doing some breathing, right? Relaxing your shoulders, or while you're waiting for your tea, whatever. We want to stack it and pair it with a cue that you already do. We want it to be measurable, like where you can say, done in under 5 to 8 minutes for like the bigger routine where, time isn't an issue, etc. or 60 to 100 seconds for those days in the moment where you just have zero bandwidth. And we want to be kind, today's rep is enough. So, for example, what would like a morning and evening routine of the full kit and caboodle look like, the full routine? Maybe even just like a 2-minute long exhale session and a 3-minute stretch and a 1-line intention. We all have time in our day for that. Maybe your evening routine for the full routine could look like writing down 3 things that you're grateful for in your diary, 2 minutes of shoulder rolls and a neck and shoulder release. But maybe that's too much for you. Maybe you need the tiny one. So a morning routine like that could be 60 seconds hand on heart and 3 long exhales. And the evening could be 1 line. Today I, was great. Today I felt great. And a slow sip of a warm drink and screens off 10 minutes early. That's all doable. Now, so you're going to build your resilience routine, a short version, a long version for days that you're going to rehearse, and a short version. That's all in your workbook. I also wanted to give you a 2-minute SOS routine. I want you to have this in your pocket for those really wobbly moments where you're just completely unprepared. But we're going to decide what that routine looks like while we're feeling okay. Because when you're in that SOS moment, that panic where the fear is just rising up, you start feeling your shoulders tense, your neck tense, your heart rate increase. You're not negotiating with panic in that moment. And an SOS routine, 2 minutes, you're going to rehearse it. It has 3 parts. For example, breathe. Five rounds of in for 3, out for 5, or 2 minutes of that cyclic sighing. Remember? Double inhale and a audible exhale. By the way, did you know that humming that you do, you know what that does? That vibrates the muscles right next to your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is the one that starts to panic. Okay. So that can be really, really helpful. And then, so you do 5 rounds of in for 3, out for 5, or 2 minutes of a cyclic sighing, and just a sentence. This is hard. I'm safe enough right now. Kind, but true. Right. And of course, having a little anchor, I talked about it the other day, can be like just some little object that means something to you, that you can hold, that you can touch. It could be a ring. It could be a little object. It could be a scarf. Keep it with you. Keep it in the same place, your pocket, your bag, right? And touch it and whisper, I did it. That's okay. And give it a little rub. I know it sounds, as my daughter says, redonk, ridiculous, but it really does help because you're teaching your brain, you're rewiring your brain. So when you are freaking the heck out, we've all been there, a scan week, say, just adapt your routine, don't abandon it. Keep the evening practices, shorten the morning ones. Maybe add a grounding ritual. We talked about that the other day, and all of this is in your workbook. Maybe add that before you're opening your phone or the portal. Have your portal rule. We talked about that too. No refresh after 8 p.m. Text a support person, your plan, right? Now, I also wanted to give you tips because all of this sounds so basic and like, yeah, Melissa, whatever. Okay, yeah, I understand. And then don't do it. It is really important that you do it. The rehearsal is everything. That's where the work happens so that you can take advantage of it in the moment. It's really true. I'll tell you a quick story. I didn't have these routines then. I told you a story about my false alarm yesterday. Today, I want to talk to you about I wasn't putting myself first. I thought I needed to ignore, I was in the thick of everything. I thought I needed to ignore it, just make my children's lives as normal as possible. And that's not me being a martyr. That was me trying to survive. That was me trying to ignore everything. Of course, I cared about my kids too. I thought I was doing it for them, kind of thing. And I went to my oncologist's office for a routine sort of appointment. She took one look at me and she said, "You look awful. How are you feeling?" I said, "Yeah, I'm really tired. I don't feel great. My appetite's not great." She immediately marched me for blood tests. She got the results right away, well, within an hour. She made me wait. She looked at my blood tests and she says, "We're going for scans right now." She said, "These are awful. These are awful results. Your immune system is suppressed. You're not rebounding. It's awful. I'm really concerned. We need to see what's happening." So I went for the scans and I came back, and she and the radiologist were looking at them right there and then. And she marched into the office and she was not happy. And she said, "Your scans are fine, but you're not." I was slowly losing it, right? I was not coping well, but I was pretending. And she said something to me that was really, really harsh. But she says, "Do you want to die? Do you want to leave your children? Like, what use are you to them if you don't make it through this? You have a choice." And I'm a pretty strong girl. I completely lost it in her office. And I was so angry. How dare she speak to me that way? Da 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 da. She was totally right. She was totally right. I wasn't acknowledging my mental health because I thought it was all about physical health. And I was just trying to ignore it. So that's one of the reasons why I started looking into how do I start taking back control of not just my physical health, because I was eating all the broccoli, I was doing all the things, but I thought I needed to focus on all of that because they were more tangible, they were more common sense, they were more practical. I was like, well, what my body does, my mind will follow. Well, that didn't quite work out. And I started going, okay, I would have these moments of panic and flutter and worry, and I would just ignore it. So I started not realizing what I was doing. I started going, okay, well, I need to have something where when I'm in the moment, where I'm like, when your oncologist looks at you and says, "You look like garbage, I'm really concerned. Blood test scans now." Like, I'm like that. I realized I had no tools to deal with that. And so I fell apart for the first time in my life, like fell apart, fell apart. It was awful. So I started developing these tools. You got to rehearse. It teaches your brain. The no time, I forgot, I'm too tired. Oh, I missed a day. I'll start again next week. I don't think this worked. Like, those are all excuses. Sorry, but I'm just going to tell you like it is. They're all excuses. None of us have any excuse not to do a 2-minute micro routine and practice it every day. So hopefully you'll listen, because I didn't, and I really wished I had the tools. These are game changers. They really, really are. So in your workbook, as always, you have some journaling exercises where it talks about like what already helps you that maybe you don't realize it. List little tiny things that have helped you before. What do you do? Do you want to go have a warm shower, stretch, have a lovely cup of tea? Maybe it's prayer for you. Maybe it's you text your friends. Recognize those, because when you build from what's already true, your brain trusts familiar actions. Maybe you already have some of these, but don't realize it. Let's identify them. What already helps? And then I want you to build your resilience routine. One for a good day, and one for a low spoons day, as they call it. And I've given you in your workbook some examples for a morning and evening routine that fit both. I also want you to create your 2-minute SOS, the little routine that you reach for when it's panic stations, right? Or the one that is appropriate for scan week. Now, understand, I'm using scan week as an example. Maybe it's something else for you. Maybe it's blood tests or an oncology appointment that you have, or bone scans, whatever it is for you. It's really, really important that you understand how, like in moments of prolonged stress, like a scan week, for example, how you can adjust your resilience routine to fit what you need in that moment. Your routine is your runway to a life that is calm and without fear. Well, I shouldn't say without fear. Maybe there is fear, but you have the tools to deal with it, right? Your routine is your runway. The reps you do when it's boring or unnecessary, maybe, are the ones that change your baseline. You're training your body. So tomorrow, we're going to put all of these random little pieces together. We're going to choose one anchor habit for the next fortnight. We're going to have your map for the wobbly days, and you're going to repeat the 2 1 to 10 scale sliders that you did on day 1 in your workbook to notice shifts. Because it's very likely that if you've actually done the exercises in the workbook, you will already see some improvements. So I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Take care, everybody. Bye.